Hello YouTubers, this is East Coastal Prepper here. It's my second video in the reality of prepping. Well, I thought I'd cover a little bit and talk about nuclear reactors and radiation, and cause of all this worry to me is EMP. Now let's say NASA's right and we get hit by a big solar flare the size of that one back in the 1800s that made the telegraph wires catch on fire. Carrington or whatever it was. It's called a Carrington event. Well, there are about 65 reactors in the United States that is used for commercial power, and many more that's naval and civilian and research and different stuff like that. A lot of reactors in the United States. Say we get hit by this EMP, say they're right that it takes out the electrical grid. Well, if it's that strong, it's going to take out every vehicle on the planet, pretty much. Well, you know how Fukushima cooked off? Because they lost their backup generators. Their batteries went dead for their emergency backup. Couldn't get the generators going. Couldn't get power. Well, they operate the water pumps in their facilities with electric. Well, they couldn't cool them. Well, and the storage pool overheated and melted down. Excuse me. Well, that led to an explosion. See, hydrogen builds up in the reactor buildings. Well, over in Russia and the Ukraine, that whole area has been contaminated, and it'll be that way for hundreds of years. Now, it didn't kill everything over there. There's still life running around, giant earthworms, transformers. You know what that means anyway. But you can't live there if you want to be healthy and live more than 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Well, what happens when all these reactors cook off? And your air, a lot of your wind goes up and out, or comes in over this way. And every country in the world has a bunch of reactors. What happens to them when no one's controlling them and can't cool them? Well, in the event of an EMP, you might as well just bend over and kiss your butt goodbye, because them are going to cook off. If it takes out the electrical grid, takes out communications and vehicles, he's going to fix them. He ain't going to be walking around fixing stuff. So anyway, when these things cook off, they shoot a lot of these materials up that produce radiation. They get boiled, turned into vapor. Dust particles get thrown around. Now, there's a few types of radiation. Now, during a nuclear explosion, a bomb, there's neutrino particles given off. Okay? These cause radioactivity. But since this would just be, basically a failure of containment in the reactors, you ain't gonna worry too much about that, but there's gonna be a lot of gamma radiation given off. Well, this is why you'll detect on most radiation detectors from long range. This stuff travels. It's gonna be your first thing you're gonna have to worry about. But the real killer is if you survive the initial event, there's going to be these alpha and beta particles up here. Now, alpha particles won't even really transfer the radiation through your skin. Big problem with them is you breathe them in. You get them inside of your body. You eat them or drink them if they're on. They'll settle everywhere. They'll be on trees, on leaves, on grass, on your garden. You walk outside and your feet dirty, you got radioactive particles on you. Your freaking poncho or Kim suit ain't going to stop it, because you're going to track it back in your house, and then you're going to get it all over the place. You breathe them in, you ain't going to last long. Now, next particle is beta. It don't penetrate too deeply into the human body. In fact, you know, it only travels about a yard. The radioactivity from these particles will only travel about a yard. So if you're out there waving your radiation detector around, you ain't going to pick them up unless you're within a yard. The alpha, you got to be within inches. Now, beta will burn your skin. It causes beta burns. Now, it's also bad if you get it inside of you. And you'll probably get a mixture of both of them if you're breathing this stuff in. So having some kind of mask to stop them would be good. But these are very, very fine, you know, particles. Because it's, you know, because the way that they're made. And let's not get into that because I'm not an expert on that. But I do know that you do not breathe these particles in no matter what. Okay? Bad for you. Well, when these reactors go up, it's going to send a lot of fallout everywhere. There's no escaping it. There's no running up into the woods with your little bug out bag and thinking you're going to make it. Because you're done. Just giving you a reality check here. If you carry something outside and you bring it back in, your clothes, your whatever, it's going to bring it into your bunker, into your house. Going to get you. If there ain't enough water, how are you going to decon? I mean, yeah, you can take a hot shower and get a lot of this stuff off of you, but, you know, you ain't going to have that if it takes out the electrical grid. Most people won't have water. So, an EMP that is strong enough to take out the entire electrical grid is going to be a bad thing. You can make all the preparations you want, but in the end, there's no way that you're going to be able to, you know, protect yourself. You're going to have to leave. But where do you go? They're everywhere. If you're in the northeast, or if you're in the eastern half of the United States, you're done. You're one of them California people. Yeah, the only state in the entire United States that has to advertise to get people to come there. Huh. There's one up in Washington. You might be a little safe over here, but all the wind usually comes in this way or this way. So a lot of Texas stuff comes up around here by the Gulf and it loops up. We're done. And then, you know, there's Japan over here with a whole bunch of them, you know, reactors, and it can. So there's nowhere to hide. You're just done. And that stuff will stay around for decades, the alpha and beta particles, until it gets washed away. And then they'll still be in the ground. You have radioactive carrots and taters. That's good for you. Yep, I don't see any way around it. The East Coastal Prepper, signing out.